Scuderia Ferrari's two-day testing session at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona with its main drivers has concluded. Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc completed most of the planned program together. The British driver had his first session on Tuesday afternoon, always driving the SF23 single-seater. He continued the training he had started in Fiorano during his first run of the season, delving deeper into testing braking, corner entry, and studying the power unit controls. In the morning, Charles Leclerc had been on track, focusing more on data collection. On Wednesday, however, Lewis Hamilton alone completed several runs. He continued until late morning when he went off the track and crashed into the barriers. It seemed that the Monegasque driver could still use his afternoon slot, as Ferrari's mechanics believed they could repair the car. However, the necessary repairs ended up taking longer than expected, particularly concerning the front suspension system. Lewis Hamilton apparently lost the rear of the car in turn 14 at over 200 km per hour after a snap at the front. The former Mercedes driver could not regain control, and car number 44 headed straight into the barriers. As we know, there were no issues for the seven-time F1 world champion. Fortunately unhurt, he was visibly disappointed by the incident. The new Ferrari driver was unable to complete his work, but more importantly, the crash prevented his Maranello teammate from completing the final planned stint in the Ferrari. The mechanics did everything possible. However, given the poor visibility with the sun gradually setting, Ferrari decided to abandon the session, with Antonio Giovinazzi and Dino Beganovic driving the SF23 on Thursday. Charles Leclerc was left without track time. No big deal, though a little more data would have been useful. But how should Ferrari's first tests at the Circuit de Catalunya be assessed? What conclusions can be drawn at this stage of the 2025 Formula One preseason period? Many have wondered why Ferrari did so much running while other teams did not. However, the Maranello team did nothing irregular. It simply took advantage of the FIA's regulations on testing of previous cars' programs, which allow any team to cover up to 1,000 kilometers during the season, using an older car with specific Pirelli-designed tires for these tests. The software is also regulated, and main drivers cannot exceed 4 days of testing. These are the rules to follow. Ferrari aimed to use this FIA allowance immediately for a couple of reasons. The first, quite obvious, was to accelerate Lewis Hamilton's learning curve with the Ferrari. The Briton needed experience, getting to know the team members better, understanding the working methodology, and gaining technical practice with the car. The braking system and power unit, in fact, are two elements he will find on the SF25 single-seater, which will be officially revealed in a little more than 2 weeks. The same goes for certain handling techniques tested with the SF23. We discussed it yesterday. In addition to trail braking, a technique used by all drivers, even in junior categories, Lewis Hamilton studied the trailing throttle. This move further stabilizes the car by keeping a small percentage of throttle open during braking. It's a technique in which Charles Leclerc is an expert. Looking at onboard footage from the top teams in 2024 and analyzing telemetry, only the Monegasque driver used it in qualifying. It is a far from simple maneuver to implement, and the Briton wanted to practice it. And what about Lewis Hamilton's feedback? What did he tell the team after these 2 days on track? The British driver is a true professional, meaning he leaves nothing to chance. For this reason, despite being very satisfied with his approach to the Italian team, he has already suggested several operational adjustments to streamline work on track. Moreover, while details are unknown, he has requested various setup modifications on the new car. Let's not forget that the Englishman comes from Mercedes, a team that, in its golden years, demonstrated an exceptional level of operational precision. A team capable of maximizing every task, never complacent, and always pushing for continuous improvement. Lewis Hamilton brings a wealth of experience in this regard. According to various well-trusted Italian news media outlets, Ferrari has welcomed his advice on optimizing work processes and timing with enthusiasm. This was, after all, what they expected from him. As for technical modifications to the new car, likely related to the controls of the SF25, it seems Lewis Hamilton will have his requests fulfilled in the coming weeks. The final feedback concerns his relationship with Riccardo Adami, his race engineer. We published a dedicated article a few months ago anticipating their future collaboration, which was later confirmed with more details in early January. And indeed, it seems that the chemistry between Ricky and Lewis is excellent, actually outstanding. Both share an obsessive work ethic, which they will put into practice throughout the 2025 Formula One season. The goal? Well, to fight at the top and erase that frustrating zero in the championship titles column that Ferrari has carried since the 2008 Formula One campaign. In just a few days, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc are set to test a special lighter version of the Ferrari SF24 at the Circuit de Barcelona on February 4th and 5. This initiative, according to reports from Italy, is part of a tire testing program for Pirelli, Formula One's official tire supplier. During these 2 days of testing, the Ferrari drivers will use a car that weighs about 30 kilograms less than the standard configuration. The goal is to simulate the loads and performance of the cars that will debut in the 2026 Formula One season. This test represents a crucial step in preparing teams for the new tire specifications and regulations that will come into effect. But how will the Ferrari F1 car taking to the track at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona for the next tests be? For the 2026 Formula One season, Pirelli will introduce some significant tire modifications. The width of the front tires will be reduced by 25 millimeters and the rear tires by 30 millimeters. These changes are designed to compensate for a partial reduction in car weight with the expectation of a minimal decrease in performance. Ferrari has decided to configure the SF24 single-seater in a low-downforce setup, an unusual choice for the Barcelona circuit. However, since the new 2026 regulations will involve a significant reduction in downforce, the Scuderia is looking to make the most of these tests to help Pirelli simulate the performance of the new cars using current technology. The new rules also require that the 2026 F1 cars be lighter than the 2025 models. For this reason, the Ferrari engineers and technicians will have the opportunity to remove weight from the SF24, bringing it closer to the new minimum weight limit set for the next season. Additionally, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc have already had the opportunity to test the Ferrari SF23 in Barcelona, continuing their pre-season preparation work with a 2-year-old car. These tests not only provide an important opportunity to fine-tune the Maranello team's performance, but also represent a crucial moment for Formula One's evolution toward future regulations. At the same time, these changes are all to aid Lewis Hamilton's integration into Ferrari. The Maranello outfit are looking to get him accustomed to the team's operation and understand the car. According to the Italian media, Lewis Hamilton has become familiar with the start procedure and releasing the clutch something predecessor Carlos Sainz struggled with. Furthermore, the Brit has become accustomed to the braking system, which have different discs than those he used at Mercedes. Despite crashing and ending his run early, Lewis Hamilton reported very positive impressions to the Ferrari engineers, finding the performance to suit his aggressive driving style with his late braking and carrying speed into the corners.